Following breaking news here at the live desk, we're going to show you live aerials just coming in right now outside of Gaithersburg, Maryland. This is about 20 miles outside of Washington, D.C. You are looking at a large building on fire, also damaged, we've learned, by an apparent explosion a short time ago. Officials on the scene right now are describing this as a mass casualty situation, but I want to let you know we don't have information yet on injuries. We do have a crew, though, on the ground there working to get more information. This appears to be potentially an apartment building here in this neighborhood that we also know is across the street from an elementary school, as the camera zooms back in and gives you an idea here of just how extensive the damage is to this building.
The sky was black, just all these flames, and they were rushing everybody, telling them, get out of your cars, get inside of the building, get inside of the building. It could be another explosion, so it was really scary.
There are still folks unaccounted for. The chief saying that 24 units are displaced, residents from 24 units displaced, and again, 12 injured, 10 transported, 2 adults in critical, 8 are mild to moderate, and of those 8, 4 are children. Another resident telling me that she smelled gas, and then she describes it as an earthquake-like shake.
This is a resident driving by. You can really get the magnitude of this explosion because you see that big plume of smoke filling the skies there in Gaithersburg. The person taking this video, it appears that they are driving. Look at this one. This guy apparently flew a drone over the scene there in Gaithersburg. You can see all of the debris there in the backyard, the firefighters on scene.
So I heard the explosion to the top to the building. It was too strong and I'm jumping. And then some couple people, they came. So I yelling and screaming and cry because I know the people they living in there. They have old people and children. And then I called 911 5 times, but nobody answered. And then I screaming, I can't move, so I be in shock. So I see another Spanish guy helping to bring to the people from the building the baby into shower.
You saw a man, Good Samaritan, pulling people out of the building.
Yeah.
Children, babies.
Yeah, the baby, and he's scared, and they give the baby they don't move, so he's scared if the baby die. But he give his CPR.
CPR.
And then I said, oh, yeah, he's left.
So the baby was not moving, and this man started giving the baby CPR.
7 News on your side at 4 starts now. We begin with a breaking news alert.
Oh, no.
The sky was black, just all these flames, and they were rushing everybody, telling them, get out of your cars, get inside of the building, get inside of the building. It could be another explosion.
Just terrifying moments after a condo building in Gaithersburg explodes. It happened just before 9 a.m., leading people in that area to flee. 12 people were hurt. 10 of them were sent to the hospital.
And police say there are still a few people unaccounted for. This happened in the 800 block of Quince Orchard Boulevard, across the street from an elementary school. At this hour, a live look from Skytrack 7 showing the scene at this hour. You can see smoke still coming from that structure.
Look at that. Dozens of families have now been displaced by this. An investigation is underway into what happened, but so far, signs do point to natural gas being involved and then feeding the flames.
Tonight, we have team coverage as we wait for another update from Montgomery County Fire. Let's start out with 7 News Maryland Bureau Chief Brad Bell. Brad, what have you learned so far?
Yeah, well, we do expect another briefing at about 5, but what this does look like is something we've seen before, a natural gas explosion that'll have to be confirmed by the investigation. I'm going to get out of the way a little bit, and you can see exactly what's going on right now, which is, from this angle, not a whole lot. They're still trying to make it safe for the rescue crews to go in, the search and rescue teams to go in. The residents of one apartment remain unaccounted for at this hour. An absolutely terrifying day in this community. This video capturing the terrifying moments immediately after the explosion. The building already collapsed and on fire. even as people run to safety from adjoining condos. That fire fueled by a ruptured gas line. A natural gas escape, the suspected but unconfirmed cause of the explosion. Residents telling stories of rescues, parents with their children being helped from the building even before fire crews arrive. In all, medics care for 12 people. 2 are in critical condition, the rest with minor to moderate injuries. Montgomery County Fire Chief Scott Goldstein reporting that they've now accounted for everyone believed to have lived here except for the residents of one apartment in the most severely damaged part of the building. A search of that area will begin when it's deemed safe.
Ring video captured the moment an explosion rocked a building at the Potomac Oaks condominiums. Thick smoke could be seen for miles. 7 News photographer Brian Hopkins captured this video along I-270 while en route to the scene. Fire rescue transported 10 people to the hospital and fought the flames for hours. A resident told 7 News the condo complex was constructed during the late 1960s. She added that there are around 500 units in total. Brown Station Elementary School is directly across the street. Administrators opted for an early dismissal at 12:30 today. Parents and guardians were told to line up at the nearby Robertson Park Youth Center.
I felt like it was shaking.
Mia Jimenez is in the 4th grade. She arrived at school around 10 minutes before the blast.
One of my friends lives right next to the explosion, and she was crying.
If today's explosion turns out as expected to be natural gas related, sadly it won't even be the first one at a large Montgomery County complex this year. In March, a building exploded at the Friendly Garden Apartments in Silver Spring. Miraculously, no one died, but after the explosion, 14 people were taken to the hospital. In August 2016, one of the worst tragedies in Montgomery County history. 7 people died and dozens went to the hospital after a gas-related explosion in the Flower Branch Apartments in Silver Spring. What all 3 explosions have in common is they happened in buildings at least 50 years old. Per property records, the condos that blew up in Gaithersburg today were built around 1967. The Friendly Garden Apartments date to 1971. And the deadly Flower Branch explosion happened in buildings from 1955. Although the 2 Silver Spring explosions were gas-related, they happened under different circumstances. The explosion earlier this year came after the fire department believes a maintenance worker accidentally cut a gas line. As for the 2016 explosion, the NTSB ultimately concluded it happened after gas built up for hours due to a mercury service regulator with an unconnected vent line.
Developing now.
You could see all the smoke and a bunch of people running.
A massive blast levels parts of a Gaithersburg condo building.
Building fire with explosion and a Travis.
10 people hospitalized and dozens more left without a home tonight.
When we got there, the front interior of the building was completely gone.
Tonight, 7 News is hearing from the survivors.
I hope I didn't lose everything.
As families are getting help from the community to carry on. 7 News at 11 starts now. It has been a terrifying and an emotional day for some families in Gaithersburg. All day, 7 News has been on the scene of a condo explosion, hurting 12 people.
And tonight, we're working to learn more details about what exactly happened there. This is what we know so far. Now, out of the 12 people hurt, 10 are in the hospital, 2 are in critical condition. There's still no official cause, but investigators believe natural gas could be to blame. The gas is shut off tonight, and the Red Cross is now helping at least 24 people.
And those neighbors now are left to wonder what to do next. Our team coverage starts with their stories. 7 News' Christian Flores joining us live at the Potomac Oaks condominiums tonight. He talked to some people who live there. And Christian, an incredibly sad and very dangerous day for those folks. They narrowly escaped this.
And really heartbreaking when you consider their loss. More than 12 hours later, and it's still so surreal to see all the destruction out here. Let me show you what I'm talking about out here. Just take a look at all of that wreckage. Now, crews will be here overnight for an investigations process that will likely take several days. Earlier today, they did bring out dogs to see if they could find anybody in there. Those dogs didn't find anybody, so potentially good news on that front. In the meantime, the people who lost their homes are just devastated. They're gutted, but they also tell me they feel incredibly lucky that they weren't even hurt in such a big explosion.
I was just laying there on the bed, and all of a sudden, it was a big boom.
Lisa Hamilton is shaken after surviving this explosion at her Gaithersburg condo.
I don't know if I lost everything. I haven't been back to the building yet, so I'll go back tomorrow to see, and I hope I didn't lose everything. There's got to be something salvageable in there, I hope.
All the debris was blocking my door, so I couldn't barely get out.
This neighbor who asked we hide her identity was one of dozens who had to scramble out of the building.
I was getting my son ready for school, and next thing you know, the building started shaking really bad. I had a son in the room with me when that was happening, then one was trapped in the bathroom.
Now she's left figuring out what's next.
I'm just worried about where I'm gonna go now. That's been my home for 10 years, and now I have nothing. Everything's gone.
Montgomery County has set up a resource shelter at Borough Park's Activity Center to help displaced families.
What we hope in the coming days then transition to a short-term housing plan for those who need. That could be a hotel.
Families we spoke with say they're lucky when you consider the magnitude of the explosion.
I'm alive. I'm here. That's all I can think about. All the other stuff is replaceable.
There are still a lot of questions, including what exactly caused the explosion, but there are many steps before we get those answers. First, crews must secure the structure before sending in any search and rescue parties or investigators. But for now, Montgomery County has a website for donations. You can actually find that link on the bottom of the screen. 100% of those donations go to the displaced families. Reporting live in Gaithersburg, Christian Flores, 7 News.
They're going to need that help too. Christian, thank you for that. And today's explosion reminds all of us of another explosion that 7 News covered back in March at the Friendly Garden Apartments in Silver Spring. These are some of the video images of that. It was devastation. In that case, nobody was killed, but 14 people had to be rushed to the hospital. Dozens more left without a home. Our team coverage now continues with 7 News' Jay Korf returning to that apartment complex as people there are still trying to recover.
It's been 8 months since an explosion rocked the Friendly Garden Apartments here in Silver Spring, and you can see fencing still surrounds that building, rubble everywhere. We spoke with a resident. She told us her road to recovery has been a long and complicated one.
Still, when I see, it hurts me. I cover my window.
For Wubit Gabriselassie, the rubble left behind from the March explosion that leveled a building at the Friendly Garden Apartments in Silver Spring serves as a painful reminder.
I was the last person to go out. I never forget that.
Gabriselassie tells 7 News on Your Side the force of the blast blew out her windows and more. She says she and her children went from hotels to Airbnbs to friends' houses for 6 months before finally returning to their repaired apartment 2 months ago.
Thanks to God, we are okay now. We get back to our apartments. We ordered everything. Was broke, my table, my kids' bed.
Gabriselassie says she's been told there's no concrete time frame on rebuilding the destroyed units here. She's just grateful to be back. Her advice to residents impacted by the apartment explosion Wednesday in Gaithersburg.
This is unexpected accident. You don't have plans to go out. That's why. Just be strong.
Jay Korf, 7 News.
And that is not the only explosion that we've seen in recent years in Montgomery County. You'll remember in August of 2016, 7 people died in another gas-related explosion at the Flower Branch Apartments in Silver Spring. One thing all of these explosions have in common, each building is at least 50 years old. 7 News on Your Side researched the property records and the Gaithersburg condo building in today's explosion. That one was built in 1967. The Friendly Garden Apartments were built in 1971, and the Flower Branch Apartments date back to 1955. Montgomery County firefighters scheduled another news conference for tomorrow morning. That's at 10:30, and 7 News will be there. Now is a good time to make sure you have notifications turned on for our 7 News app. We'll send updates right to your phone as soon as we learn new information.